Hello guys, 19 Russian drones crossed the border of Poland and traveled deep inside the country, more than 200 kilometers. They not only crossed the border from the Ukrainian side during a large attack, but they also came from Belarus. So no, that is not a mistake. That is not an accident and not just a provocation. That is an open act of aggression. Just imagine something similar happening 20, 30, 50 years ago. What would be the reaction of the White House, of NATO, of your governments? Or imagine a similar situation, but from the other side, NATO drones crossing the border of Russia. I believe you can predict the reaction, so it's very wrong to pretend that nothing special happened. I know many say this is a test, but it's not. The tests were carried out by Russia previously, when 1 or 2 drones crossed the borders of Moldova, Romania, Lithuania, Poland, and now dozens of drones that actually hit residential buildings, the debris of which they are gathering all over the country, including in Gdansk. That is not a test. That is an aggression. And here in Ukraine, we are ready to share our skills and even our mobile groups that know how to stop Russian drones. Because doing that with F-16s, with super expensive missiles, and actually shooting just 4 out of 10 is not something you can use on a daily or monthly basis. And do I think this will continue? Yes, I do, unfortunately. I have collected a lot of important facts and some very interesting perspective because I actually live on the border with Poland, and I didn't speak about that in the videos a lot, but it's not the first night that Russian drones visited Poland and they were not shut down. This was taken by Putin as an invitation. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia that all of us need, subscribe and please share these videos because I have collected some very important data and today is not a usual day. Here in Ukraine, we first of all want to express our support and understanding to people in Poland and that we are prepared to stand together against Russia. Here, first of all, I'd like to start with the fact that prove it's not an accident or a mistake. This is not just 1 drone or 2 drones traveling 15 kilometers from the border. This is in total 19 drones that crossed the border of Poland. You have to know, these Shahed drones and of a similar type are programmed at the moment of their ascending. So they do have a way, they do have an itinerary that they have to fulfill. Plus, traveling 200, 300 kilometers from the border is again not an accident but a task that all of these drones had. And another fact that not only they crossed the border from the Ukrainian side, we may say it's just because the attack on Ukraine was so massive as the Polish government tried to describe it previously, but they also traveled to Poland from Belarus, where Russia and Belarus now conduct trainings. People, this is an attack. And all of these attacks will be hybrid. They did not announce war against Ukraine, neither in 2014 nor in 2022. This is just a special military operation. And nothing stops the Kremlin from expanding this special military operation to Poland, the Baltics, Moldova, and many more countries, especially if the reaction that we see from the White House, here we go. That's absurd. It's better not to say anything. And yes, even those who support Donald Trump must understand this is the result of that Alaska meeting. That is the result of these comments that we have to understand Putin, that we have to let him defend himself and reconstruct the idea of the USSR. I haven't seen NATO drones crossing the border of Russia, but I constantly see Russian drones crossing the border of Poland, Lithuania, Moldova, Romania, many of which are NATO countries, at least 3. And these were tests. When it was 1 drone, 2 drones crossing a border, traveling 10, 15 kilometers, these were tests. And armies did not react. So this time it was an attack, and it resulted in a destruction of a small house, residential house. someone's home in Poland by a Russian drone. And it's very wrong to pretend that it's a test. It's not a test anymore. It's an open aggression. Do I think they will attack the Baltic so they can continue attacking Poland like that? Yes, I do. I am 100% confident, especially after this night. And, believing that, well, if they attack Poland, nothing will be left on Russian soil. I don't think so too. I know that Poland is strong and we will support Poland with our skills of the modern war, and I'm sure some NATO countries will, but Putin's task is to undermine the unity in the alliance, and Trump is helping him 100% with this. And also to demonstrate that the majority of NATO armies know nothing about the modern warfare. And the way Polish army tried to stop these drones with F-16s, with very expensive missiles, you won't have enough missiles for, an ordinary drone night in Ukraine if Russia continues. That is very expensive, very ineffective. That's not the way you stop the drones. So subscribe to know more, and I'm sure the world needs to know more about the Ukrainian skills, because on the side of good, on the side of NATO, it's only Ukraine. All the other armies that have these modern skills of the 21st century war, they are Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, and drones are important. That's why to defeat Russia faster, support our NATO campaign. Here I connect a link. Not only you get patches, but you also get more safe and secure nights. I was very disgusted to read some of the comments coming from weak politicians in Hungary, in Slovakia. One of Slovakian deputies actually said, "We hope that all these drones in Poland were just intended for Ukraine." And here we come to one aspect that I rarely discuss on this channel, because I know all our community is a community of friends, people who want Ukraine to win, but it all began with a great mistake of NATO when you disagreed to close the skies above Ukraine. Because hitting and destroying Russian missile or Russian drone above Ukraine, saving innocent lives, lots of innocent lives could have been saved. We are talking about thousands. It's not an escalation, and it's not a war against Russia. If you shoot this piece of iron above a Ukrainian hospital on the territory of Ukraine, if your air defense, your F-16s helped us back in 2022 shooting down these instruments of death that Russia kept dropping on us and keeps dropping on us, this would not be a war against Russia. First of all, once again, Russia did not announce war against Ukraine. Second, you do not cross the border of Russia. You stop it here. Tell me, please, why destroying Russian missile? Why destroying Russian drone? Not an aircraft with a pilot. No, because they shoot from the Russian side. They do not cross the border with Ukraine. So tell me, please, in the comments. I'm really interested if there is an explanation like that. Why destroying a missile, destroying a drone on the territory of Ukraine, when we allow you to be in our space, is an escalation against Russia. And now they do the same with Poland, and they will do the same with the Baltics. It's very, very likely. Intelligence speaks about that. And here we come to some secret knowledge. I live in a Volhynia region, and that is on the border with Belarus and on the border with the European Union, Poland. And you know that since Donald Trump is in the office, the number of attacks on Ukraine grew tremendously, doubled, tripled, including the zones that were once considered semi-safe, like my city. And now every week we have dozens of drones, a couple of missiles. It's difficult for our air defense, but we also have this high quality tracking systems because we had 3.5 years of war. We developed them. And every night during such attacks, I would read about 1 or 2 Russian drones traveling to Zamość, traveling to Lublin voivodeship. We fixed that. And you would not read about that on the news because Somehow, our allies decided it's better to cover this information, to pretend nothing happened. So now you have 10 traveling up to Gdansk. Gdansk, you can look at a map, it's very far away from Ukraine. And they didn't only travel from Ukraine, they also traveled from Belarus, proving once again that this country is at war with us, no matter what Lukashenko tries to say that it is a mistake. Can you imagine a similar mistake, but in the different direction? A Polish drone accidentally hitting Kaliningrad? I guess not. So stop pretending that it's not happening. And there are lots of memes here and jokes that you may not like, but sometimes it seems like that any NATO member that is attacked by Russia is considered not a NATO member anymore. That is what we hear in the White House very often. When asked directly about the support of NATO to the Baltic countries, what did Trump say? It's so complicated, it's such a complicated region. And Poland, you know, once was a part of the Eastern Bloc. It's very worrisome. And no, these are not tests. This is an act of aggression. Name it as it is. And one more important thing. Some evil people say it's just because we support Ukraine. No, it's just because you support Ukraine, you don't have hundreds of drones on your territories. Trust in Ukraine, support Ukraine, and let's fight together against this evil. Let me know in the comments below, but in this very polite, YouTube-friendly language, what do you think about this attack of Russia on Poland, a NATO state? Do you think it will continue, and what other countries are under threat? I personally believe this will continue. They may have different demands. This may include missiles. Closing your border, buying heavy tanks won't save you. The war of the 21st century is different. It's a war of swarms of drones. It's a war of robots. It's the war of drone interceptors. And we people of Ukraine, soldiers of Ukraine, are prepared to share our experience, our skills to protect you, to help. And maybe even here in Ukraine, we discuss sending specific groups that know how to intercept effectively these drones, and also maybe prepare some Polish, Lithuanian, Estonian military in Ukrainian drone centers. Because we need that, and I'm sorry guys, you need that. It's super important to accept the truth, not to hide from it. And it's very, very evil from Russia to attack Poland in September. History repeats itself. But history repeats itself also in the fact that evil will be defeated. And we are working on that. Join the community. It's easier to be together against the evil. Thank you for your support, your kind comments. Also follow me on Instagram, X, Threads, Blue Sky, and join the Discord community. Link in the description of this video, same as the link to our merch shop with lots of good items that help you work as Ukrainian ambassadors, and we need that. Thank you so much for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel. And that's why I actually launched a second channel. And remember to check a new video there too, of me as your language teacher, where I explain this very important difference between Ukraine war and the Russian invasion, because language matters too. Thank you once again for being friends of mine, friends of Ukraine. My best wishes to people of Poland, and united we stand. Slava Ukraini!